What's up, everybody? It's your boy Duval here, and we're back with some more GTA 6 videos for you guys. Today we're going to be talking about Rockstar's patents for GTA 6 are actually kind of wild. So before we get into the video, patents, as we know, are kind of like copyrights on how something is implemented, particularly in the context of games, AI systems, animations, blah blah blah. We're gonna see it in the video.
So we've all seen the GTA 6 trailer. I mean, it looks fantastic. It looks stupid. Just like absolutely insane. But one of the other things that's kind of interesting about GTA 6 trailer 2 is that it showcases a lot of pretty amazing tech, a lot of absolutely crazy things that people are like, there's no way this is real. Like, there's no way that, like, you know, the sweat dripping down his back is real. There's no way. Like, as he walks, watch the tricep.
Sweat,
okay, not just the sweat dripping down, but watch the tricep. You've never looked so close at a man's tricep before. You're gonna.
The fact that you can actually see it relatively clearly as well. And also to know, this is with YouTube compression. I'm not even talking about this video. I'm talking about with the original trailer. Imagine when you see it rendering natively on the Pro in real life.
You're gonna see the muscle
not in the Pro, the base PS5. And I'm sure they'll enhance it for Pro as well.
You see that? That little crease?
Yep.
No crease there. He flexes
Muscle
the tricep.
deformation.
And then you get the divide in the muscle. It's insane. Crazy attention to detail.
Yep.
Okay. Funnily enough, yeah, Orange Theory.
And you can see the vein pop as well.
Funnily enough, this is tech that they initially put into Red Dead Redemption 2 for the horses. You remember when horses were walking and the muscles would flex and shift? Apparently this is flex.
I also remember the horse ball, the horse
move.
testicle physics.
They've now brought that same tech into GTA 6.
Yes, Rockstar, I remember.
And it's all over the place. There's tons of crazy, impressive things going on here. And interestingly enough, there's also a collection of patents that we can look at to see a lot of these things. 6C over on X has this with a collection of some of the patents that Rockstar has filed over the last handful of years that are now presumably and potentially being implemented into GTA 6. So I recommend you go check out this full thread. But what's interesting is here, realistic fluids. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Real.
Nice. Sweat. And it's not just limited to sweat running down your character's body, but blood soaking into clothing when you get shot, rain splashing and dripping. The first two in particular really impressed me. The rain splashing and dripping was already in 5, but I'm sure it will be even more impressive in 6. And then they also say it computes everything in 2D for speed, then maps it to 3D scenes. High realism, low performance cost. So if they do the 2D computation and then they map it to 3D, and that means less CPU.
Realistic fluids for the win.
It's less CPU
This system
intensive.
simulates fluids like sweat running down your back, blood soaking into your clothing, or rain splashing and dripping. It computes everything in 2D for speed, then maps it to 3D sources and scenes. High realism, low performance cost, dynamic grime, weather effects, stains, confirmed. And you can actually pull up the patent and read through how it works. It's wild. As you can see, initially it was filed in 2018. And these are all sorts of like some of the early developmental things that they were.
Yep, around the time RDR2 would have been done. Although this is the beginning of literally the end of January. Yeah, January 30th. The second to last day in January. They filed the patent. RDR2 didn't release till October of that year, so they were. But then again, this could have been. No, but RDR2 would have been almost done by then, so they wouldn't need to.
So actually put this into the game. Way less exciting.
Pre-production even before
see it in the
RDR2
trailer,
released.
It's quite exciting. It's quite exciting indeed. The second one, supercharged pathfinding. This system breaks the world into a giant graph of movement nodes, guiding NPCs and cars through complex maps with far better precision. AI can now navigate alleys, so those can actually have people moving through them, sidewalks, chaotic scenes more naturally, and can react to your character more dynamically. We've seen small example of that in the trailer, like in the beach scenes, for example. And you can see this patent that was filed back in 2021 breaks down how this works with all the different variable nodes and how they can shift and change as time goes by. And I mean, one thing that has to be mentioned here is I don't like patenting gameplay systems, okay? Viscous indeed. Yes, hell yeah. Realistic fluids for the win. I don't like patenting gameplay systems. I think it's crazy. It's ridiculous. I honestly don't know how you could possibly enforce a patent like this.
Yeah, because it's like the patent is for how something is implemented. But the only person that would know would be the company making the patent. And then, even if somebody comes out with that system, another developer comes out with a game with a similar component, how would you know how it's coded? Couldn't it be that they came up with their own way of programming that? Because they can't see your source code, presumably. For the most part, it's pretty secure stuff. So how would you even know? Would you have to check? Go there and check?
Again,
how does that work? Yeah, I don't see how that's enforceable
gameplay
at all.
nodes for AI systems. I honestly don't know how you could possibly do that. And then like you're gonna sue a company that does it. The invention claimed is a computer implemented method for virtual navigation in a road network of a gaming environment. The road network of the game environment being represented by low-level graph comprising one or more low-level nodes joined by links. The method comprising generating the low-level graph of the road network of the gaming environment, a course graph of the road gaming environment, determining using the course graph of the road network of the gaming environment, a path from the start node to the target node wherein the path comprises course graph nodes, and generating from said path compromising course graph nodes, a full route from the start node to the target node wherein the full route encompasses low-level nodes. Okay? So, like, they're just going to... This is like those connected dots games you played when you were waiting at the restaurant at like Cracker Barrel, you know, when you're waiting for your food as a 3-year-old and you're connecting all the dots to make a shape. It's basically how this works, but like you have the NPC here and then the destination is here and then they chart out the path that they walk to. As far as I understand it, that's been in games for a long time, but apparently this is something more revolutionary. So make of that what you will.
What I get from that is the AI is going to be a lot smarter. They'll be able to navigate paths they haven't before in previous games. If you guys are hearing background sound, it's my mom singing. I don't know why she's doing that. It's annoying. But anywho, so yeah, they'll probably be able to climb buildings, fences, ledges. Just do a lot more intricate
This is more
movements in
interesting,
places that
especially
you
after we
didn't think
talked about
they'd be
Star
able to,
Citizen
and you
earlier.
haven't seen in
Seamless
previous Grand Theft
multiplayer
Auto games.
transitions, okay? Filed by Rockstar San Diego, specifically. This enables players to move across the map without server switches or loading. The system merges and splits sessions dynamically, meaning one big GTA Online world. This could...
I don't really understand what that means. Merges and splits sessions dynamically.
open for
Meaning
some
one big
seriously
GTA Online
massive
world.
multiplayer lobbies.
I don't get
the
that.
reason I say
don't
this is
get that.
interesting specifically in the context of Star Citizen is because Star Citizen has also done similar tech like this where they're able to do seamless merging of nodes and things without people noticing. They break it up into what they call shards. It's a whole thing. But this allegedly will allow you to have a massive server that is seamless. So there's no loading from this area to this area to this area. All of the instances are kind of shared together, or at least a group of them. Realistically, this doesn't mean that you're going to have 1 million people on one map. It means that you could have a map full of 500 players, and that would normally be split across like 10 servers, but now it's seamlessly connected. So you could have servers.
Oh, I get it now. So there's more people per server, as in Rockstar's in service for handling the online component of the game. Okay, I didn't get where they were coming from with that text, but I get it now. And then it's like with the PS5's this blazing fast SSD. I think the PS4 capped out at what 80 megabytes per second with the hard drive, and then the PS5 is like 5.5 gigabytes per second. That is so astronomically. Think about that, right? So the PS4 is 80 megabytes per second. Let's convert a gigabyte to Hold on, let me pull up the calculator. 5.5 gigabytes to m megabytes. All right, so that's 5,500 divided by 80. That's literally 68 times faster. Hold on, let me double check that I have the number right. Obviously, network speed matters as well. PS4, okay, which can be used internally, upper speed, up to 550. All right, but this is still 10% of what the PS5's SSD can do. And this is the top of the line model. So I was wrong. It's actually come with SSDs for 100, yeah. So 5,500 divided by 100, that's 550. 55, sorry, my bad. That's still massive. 55 times faster. The PS4 and PS4 Pro use a SATA2 interface which can handle up to 300 megabytes per second. So then it'd be 17, 18. Yeah, 18.3. So even at the max, which the PS4s do not come with. That's if you replace them, and the vast majority of people are not going to do that. I still have
servers that are way larger,
so
which for us doing like community events could be super cool. If you have like the Luke Stevens live server and it's for the community, and we could have everybody, if we're playing it on stream, you could have hundreds of people who are also in chat in here. That could be super, super cool. So interesting development there.
Also, another side note, I don't want to ramble too much, but obviously I imagine also the network card in the PS5 is astronomically faster. I want to do a quick Google search on that. Bear with me, guys. PS4 network card versus PS5. Obviously the CPU is blazing fast. Okay, so the PS5's network card significantly improves upon the PS4's offering faster transfer speed, Wi-Fi 6. Yeah, I actually wanted to see like the data transfer speeds. Hold on. All right, they said no, that's Ethernet.
Terrain light that reacts to you. A
no,
rendering upgrade
port.
to handle footprints
whatever.
in
It's much
sand
faster. I don't
or
want to spend too long on
snow
that.
with real-time ambient lighting and dynamic surface response. You shoot a street lamp, the world reacts in real time, making you less visible. You walk in sand and mud, and you leave visible footprints.
Yes.
Again, this is something that's been in games previously, and this patent was originally filed in 2019 using pictures and examples from Red Dead Redemption 2. But it seems like this is specifically, if you go into it, where's the text? Yeah, the trail map of the given location with the gaming environment wherein updating utilizes stored record, wherein the updating is based on determined dynamic terrain type. Basically, they want to have actual physical alteration of the terrain instead of just like textures and normal maps and things like that. Again, I'm surprised that this is patented because it seems like this has been in games for a long time. I remember seeing the trailers and stuff for Assassin's Creed 3 with that snow deformation, and I thought that was revolutionary at the time. But still, Dirk says patents are about how, not the what. So you can have multiple patents about the same thing if they do that thing differently. And I think what I'm trying to say is I don't know how they enforce a patent unless they know how that other company is doing it.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Maybe there's ways where they do the sand deformation and the sand tracking and stuff so uniquely that it'd be
like I said earlier,
if like Ubisoft started doing the same thing. But I do wonder how they.
But then how would they even know? Because obviously Rockstar would be the only one that would know how it's done. So unless somebody was
but either way,
giving out
mainly
insider
for this video,
info.
This is
That's
just
the only situation I could
they've
see
been
that
developing
being
this tech. This has been in the works for years, and they actually went so far as to patent some of it. And there are many more that they give examples of other tech advancements that we could probably hunt down and find. There were some patents I remember us looking at previously that had to do with tracking more NPCs at a given time, which is believable. I mean, you look at this screenshot right here. There's cars driving by over here. There's a helicopter over there. There's cars all the way in the background, all the way over there. Okay, like all over the place. There's NPCs, and the game has to be.
Bro, those basketball matches on that court are gonna go so crazy.
Processing.
I just
AI
love
of
how
those.
like the
in this
balcony
bus
and the
too. This is
platform
also
looks
crazy. Look how many NPCs
beautiful,
are in the
absolutely
bus.
beautiful.
There's also a police. They're having a shootout arresting a guy. But look how many people are in that bus. Each one of those has to be simulated. Each one of those characters has to be considered. It's wild. Bye-bye FPS. Yeah, that's why they're locking it at 30.
This is gonna be so CPU heavy. Imagine if they actually like boosted the pros CPU speed by 50%, which I don't think they'd ever do in a pro model of a console. The highest we've seen is 30% because there's only been two pro consoles, the PS5 Pro currently and the PS4 Pro, which I have seated next to me on my entertainment center in my room here. I've shown you guys that before. Yeah, also, yeah, so 50% at that point, at that jump, they'd probably just save that performance boost for the next generation. I feel like we've barely seen any PS5 games. I really do not think we're ready for a PS6. We're not. We're really not. I'm not ready for it. This has been the most boring generation, and 6 is gonna make the PS5 something I actually find appealing. But not saying I don't, but it's really gonna up the demand for sure. I forgot to say, but imagine, well, I didn't finish. Imagine if the Pro PS5 was like a 50% CPU boost, because they said in the video that it's 45% faster GPU rendering, but it's the teraflop count went up by 67%. So I'm like, why is it not 67% boost? But anyways, it's 6.7 more teraflops, which is massive. That's literally 67% more GPU power. So how would they incorporate that into GTA 6? Would that just be like increased resolution? And I don't know so much about frame rate because they only boosted the CPU by 10%. Maybe they could get a 40 FPS mode out of that, I think, yeah. The CPU didn't improve that much, only 10% clock uptick. But they have plenty of GPU headroom though, a lot. But a game like GTA 6 has NPCs, weather systems, dynamic physics, so many thousands of processes just running. So that's going to be really CPU intensive. So yeah, we have a beefed up GPU, but the CPU isn't going to measure up in terms of performance uptick. So, and I doubt we'll even get a 40
crazy
FPS
tech
mode.
being
I think they're just going to lock
presented
it
here,
to 30.
and you know, this is why I've been like, hey, they need to delay it a year. They got to delay it a year. But games like this push the industry forward and raise the bar and the standards, which is good for the broader industry. Hopefully, performance is good, but we'll see. Rockstar historically has done a really good job polishing, and I think that's why they're taking.
Somebody in chat said Switch 2 version is almost going to be 10 FPS.
Having said that, the broader point of like actually
not running that
having to do with game design, again, I don't like it, but these patents are years old and they are locked and loaded, so we're just kind of stuck. And it doesn't matter if I like it, they're doing it anyways. But yeah,
UPI तो सब कर दे, लेकिन अगर
well, we're still getting a top of the line game. Alright guys, so that was it. That was Rockstar's patent for GTA 6 are actually kind of wild. I'm sorry for rambling a bit. I just felt like I had to say what I needed to say. Hope y'all enjoyed. Don't forget to comment, like, share, subscribe, turn on post notifications, all that good stuff. Follow my socials, my TikTok, Instagram, and Discord. They'll be in the description. And with that said, I will see y'all in the next video. Goodbye.